And welcome back, everyone, to Who Would Win, the week of Who Would Win, which will be extended out. It's the 28th today. July has 31 days in it, so Wednesday is our official last day of the week of Who Would Win. But no Who Would Win Thursday, but then Friday. So just so you know, you will get the couple extra. I always extend it out when the month ends a couple days after the Sunday, just to get a couple more videos out. It just makes sense. But coming to us from Warrior, if I got that name right, I believe it was Warrior, that's what I wrote down. We have who would win in a fight, Gin Ichimaru and Itachi Uchiha from Naruto and Bleach respectively, or Bleach and Naruto respectively. And these are guys who were basically they weren't, let's say, Aizen level smarts, or even, I wouldn't even go to say Madara was that smart. Madara's plan had a lot of dumb luck involved. But they're individuals who definitely were playing a couple steps ahead of their opponents. Within their respective franchises. They had plans upon plans. Like, Gin's ultimate plan was to kill Aizen, but he earned his trust, basically played the part to a T, and then, if it wasn't for the damn Hogyaku, would have killed Aizen. Itachi obviously had intended to turn his brother, not to the dark, he played the part of the villain, so Sasuke would ultimately become a protector of the village. And then when that didn't work out, thanks to being smart enough to implant the Koto Katsukame in Naruto, broke himself out of the Edo Tensei and basically teamed up with Sasuke. Which again required some dumb fucking luck. So take that for what it is. Regardless, and I got something on my glasses there. Regardless, these are two very powerful individuals. Now, I am one of the people who have always contended and said and stick with the fact that the Bleach hierarchy and power scaling of that world is far greater than Naruto's world. You get casual planet destroyers in that world, whereas planet destroyers are honestly a rare group in Naruto. And then you get individuals who literally threaten the fabric of realities. So the Bleach multiverse scale, Bleach multiverse, it technically is a small multiverse. But the Bleach world scaling is, I think, higher than Naruto's. And I think most people who look at it like on an objective standpoint in terms of feats, power scaling, all that, would agree. However, not all characters are that level of power in Bleach, and there are characters much stronger than the average in Naruto. And this is one of those cases. Gin Ichimaru is not a character who is capable of destroying a planet. At least as far as I can tell, he isn't. He's very powerful, absolutely, but he's not that strong. And Itachi is certainly someone who also can't destroy a planet, but I think actually falls in the same general realm of power as, say, maybe Gin, although there is some conversation to be had on that we'll get into. And let's break that down then. Let's talk about Gin. Gin was the was the captain of the 3rd division of Gotei 13 in Bleach when we first meet him. He is noted to be exceptionally powerful, very intelligent, and highly manipulative, as well as skilled in deception, which is kind of the same thing, but manipulation and deception are different. He is also a highly skilled warrior, capable of skillfully using his flash step, which flash step is, generally speaking, light speed. It is confirmed that Sarah's move at light speed, and the fact that they're capable of dodging and reacting means they have light speed-esque reflexes, if not beyond, plus being able to move that fast. The only reason it doesn't seem like that is because we're looking at it in their battle time. So if we were looking at those fights in terms of how long they're probably actually going on for, they're not going on as long as we think they are. But so he's exceptionally fast. He is a skilled Kido user, but we very rarely see him using Kido. We rarely see him using it. The only times we really see him do it is when he binds Zaraki in that cloth, which, granted, that was the weakest Zaraki's been in the series, but the fact that he could just casually bind Zaraki in that cloth and Zaraki kind of couldn't get out is impressive, to say the least. Zaraki would make mincemeat of the Gin with his full potential, but at that point, Gin arguably probably been stronger than Kenpachi. Arguably. Immense energy output with his Ryatsu spiritual pressure, spiritual energy, which is related to chakra to a certain degree. Should note, I always treat these fights like the opponent can see the Bleach character, because Bleach characters exist as spirits. Normal people wouldn't be able to see them. You have to be spiritually aware to be able to see these individuals, or be able to see, the patterns or whatever. The Sharingan, I think you could make an argument, could at least allow him to see his form. But I always just do the argument that there's no point into the fight, because that just kind of ruins the fight outright. Or it doesn't ruin the fight, it just makes the fight non-existent at that point. Regardless, I always do it as they can see each other. Gin, though, is also a highly exceptional swordsman, like very skilled, and that goes along with his Zanpakuto, Shinso, which I believe is 100 spears or something like that, and then it's Kamishini no Yari's Bankai, God-killing spear, if I remember the name correctly, translation correctly. Shinso and Kamishini no Yari, I remember, it's the meaning of the name. Shinso is actually very basic in its ability. It's literally extends 100 sword lengths, up to. So your standard sword, what's actually the length of a standard katana? Standard katana length. Hold on. Standard katana length is standard length of the katana is 40 inches or 1 meter. So that's 100 meters, and 40 inches is 40 inches, I believe, is just over 3 feet. So if you do the math, that means his normal blade can extend to about 300 and some odd feet in length. Doing the math real quick, that's 4 extra inches added on there. Combine times that by 100. That's 400 inches, which if you do the math on that real quick, so 60 inches I know is 5 feet, so divide that by that, that's 5 feet. So you're looking at a sword that can extend, roughly speaking, at 335-ish feet in length in Shikai. It's exceptionally fast when it does this too, and very powerful. It strikes with force. Its Bankai, we actually don't know the true speed or length the Bankai can extend. We know it can, but we know it is immense. Because he lied about it to Ichigo. It's not as fast or as long as I said it is. Most likely, though, it's still very fast. He said it was like 500 times the speed of sound, how fast it extended and retracted. Let's just say it's maybe 400 instead. That's still 400 times the speed of sound. So, hold on. Speed and the speed of sound. The speed of sound, if I remember correct, speed of sound in miles per hour. Let's see, in miles per hour is speed of sound is 767.269 miles per hour. Now, if you were to do the math on that real quick, just times that by 400. You add 2 zeros on there, obviously. And then times that by 4, and that gives you your basic number, which translates that, roughly speaking, out to around, let's see, that's 7, that's really freaking fast, 76, that's about 200, actually no, it's over 200, it's over 300 miles per hour in terms of, and then let me just get the speed of light here real quick. Speed of light in miles per hour is, what the hell? Okay, speed of light, 6.706 E plus 8. Okay, let's try that again. The speed of light is 299,792 speed of light. Seriously? How fast is speed of light in miles? Okay, it's 186 miles per second. There you go. And so, yeah, so I did. So yeah, it's not, that can't be, I mean, that's very fast. So it's not as fast as the speed of light. Although let me get the speed of sound in miles per second. Speed of sound miles per second real quick here. Speed of sound miles per second. That will give me a better idea here. It's 0.2 miles per second. So it's nowhere near the speed of light, which is interesting because Shinigami can move at the speed of light. It's confirmed they can do that. So that's interesting. But point is, it can still move insanely quick. In an instant, you need to have serious reflexes to be able to dodge. It can literally cleave a city in half. Extends and retracts at that speed too. There is no like slowing down for it. But its real ability is simply that it turns the dust for a fraction of a second when it extends and retracts, and you can leave a sliver itself in an opponent. And inside the blade is a poison that can break you down on a cellular level. You need literally a Deus Ex Machina to survive it, pretty much. You need to be, because even Aizen, who was that point in his evolution, a Soul King-esque being, not quite level Soul King, but he continued to evolve to that point, was going to die if the Hogyoku had not gotten involved. Like that was just it. So Gin is exceptionally deceptive, exceptionally intelligent, exceptionally strong, exceptionally fast. Itachi, we know for a fact, was a prodigy. He was a prodigy among his clan. He's also a pacifist, ironically, but he continues to fight because he's got to play up the part. And he had no choice but to kill his parents, otherwise, and his clan. Otherwise, it was going to be very bad. He is skilled in the main ninja arts, particularly fire jutsu. He's also noted to be a genjutsu specialist. That is his real his real skill set. He was even able to completely 180 a genjutsu master in Kurenai when she tried to use genjutsu on him. He's an exceptional hand-to-hand fighter, although one of his weaknesses is he does have a weak constitution due to him being sick, and also already having a below-average chakra pool. This is due to the fact that apparently his Mangekyo unlocked a rare complication. Like, it was a rare complication with his eyes that was acting very similar to like a tuberculosis. It wasn't apparently tuberculosis, but it acted like it. But Itachi was still, even knocking on death's door, an immensely skilled and dangerous opponent. His Sharingan is capable of copying any jutsu he sees. It wouldn't help here. Capable of tracking movement. It's all about him being able to keep up with his opponent. So that's very good. That's skilled. I just blanked on what I was saying there. So that's a very good skill for keeping track of individuals. He's also got good reflexes, although nowhere near light speed reflexes. And as I said, fire jutsu he's very skilled with. He's also skilled with crows. Apparently he has crow summoning, which is interesting. But obviously his real bread and butter here, that would be the big thing in the fight, would be his Mangekyo Sharingan, which has, for him at least, 3 separate abilities. Technically speaking, all the Sharingan have 3 separate abilities when they gain Mangekyo, but some of them are a bit more offset. Not offset. They're a bit more... Some are just the same ability with different forms. Like, for instance, Kamui, there's an offensive version of Kamui, and there's a defensive version of Kamui. And each eye controls one of those versions. So there's that. But each eye together unlocks Susanoo. So that's an ability everyone with a Mangekyo has. Weado Tsukuyomi can be activated like that, and literally an entire lifetime can flash before your eyes. And it can only be a second, not even in a real world. It literally manipulates your perception of reality, and you will physically feel everything going on in that reality. The fact that Kakashi survives Tsukuyomi is nothing short of amazing. It shows you how tough Kakashi is. But yeah, it is literally, he can just kind of control everything going on there. It's kind of nuts. Amaterasu produces flames that basically are hotter than the sun and burn until whatever is burning is gone. It can even burn other flames. Figure that logic out. And then Susanoo is obviously a giant chakra construct, having 3 separate abilities. His Susanoo is arguably the strongest Susanoo, except for maybe Kakashi's, because with the Kamui, like shurikens, it would give him an edge and actually make him... I would argue Kakashi's Susanoo might be the strongest when we're talking about like a fully realized Susanoo. This is my opinion, because the Kamui kind of bypasses all the abilities of the other Susanoo. Like the Yada Mirror reflects all elemental attacks at the opponent. But if a Kamui hits it, that's just spatial. Like, it's literally could cause the Yada Mirror to disappear. He's also got that range attack, which it's the beads. I can't remember the name of the beads. The Tosca Blade. Well, theoretically could make the Tosca Blade disappear. The fact that Susanoo's got such an absolute defense, allegedly, doesn't really work here. And the fact is, it's not really an absolute defense if you don't have a perfected Susanoo, because you're still vulnerable from under the ground. Hell, even if you have a perfect Susanoo, I believe it's Jigen or Ishiki. Ishiki proved it. That don't mean dick. From the bit of Boruto I do know. But the Yadamir repels all incoming attacks, at least in terms of elemental attacks. The Tosca Blade is a sealing blade, which seals the individual in a drunken-like reality, stupor kind of thing. So it is exceptionally powerful and exceptionally strong. And durability-wise, it's still a giant chakra construct. Now, Itachi can't maintain this for very long. Even if we looked at Itachi at his peak, theoretically, without the sickness, and I'm talking about Edo Itachi, because that wouldn't be peak Itachi. That is the strongest version of Itachi, but he's dead. That's not peak living Itachi. We're looking at living. Yeah, I imagine he could hold it for longer, but still would be straining him beyond belief. So these two meet in a fight. Itachi and Gin and Itachi probably are not two characters that would want to fight each other from the get. They're probably two characters that would probably more just be interacting, having some trading some views and philosophy, whatever. But ultimately, they would come to blows. Maybe the Aizen sends him to Itachi saying, "Hey, look, this guy's interesting. I want him. I want to run some experiments. Bring him to me." It's like, and if I'm unable to bring him, Lord Aizen, well, then just do what you need to do, Gin. He may also be a threat, so do what you have to. Oh, I'm sorry, Lord Aizen would like you to come with us. It's like, I don't know who this Lord Aizen is. Go away. It's like, I'm afraid I can't do that. And so maybe he does because I imagine you could probably do the same level of Kido that say Byakuya could. Although Byakuya, I think, is better than him at Kido. I think that is he's one of the best Kido users in the 13 Court Guard. So maybe he still does Bakugo 61 or Ryu Jukoro. And Itachi gets captured but disappears. It's like, oh, illusions. Well, I haven't seen that in a little while. It's like, I'm telling you to leave. I gave you a chance. Now you're gonna have to pay the consequences. Oh, am I? Fire style, fireball jutsu. Fires a fireball. Interesting. Just slices it in half. It's like, you'll have to do better than that. It's like, so the big question immediately is going to be genjutsu. Is Gin going to be susceptible to genjutsu? And the answer with that would be yes. Shinigami are not immune to illusions. We see that with Aizen all the time. We see that with Sakanade. We see that there are illusion-based abilities that exist in Bleach that it's clear Shinigami aren't immune to it. But they're also not weak to it either. It'd be very much like Naruto, where if they can figure out how to get out of the technique, they'll be fine. And because Shinigami sense spiritual pressure, spiritual energy, not chakra, even though the two are connected, they are not exactly the same thing. Then he might be able to just kind of locate and say, got you, slay him, or pierce his flesh, Shinzo. And the blade just comes out. Itachi has to get out of the way. But unfortunately, he just swipes it, and Itachi gets a nice gash on him. It's like, ugh. It's like, I'm afraid you'll have to do better than that if you're going to want to put me under some illusion. It's like, perhaps I will. Ooh, that's right. That's right. Those eyes of yours must be dangerous. Fortunately, I don't really need mine to fight you, now do I? And then he just starts maybe firing some Kido off. Itachi has to avoid. I think because Itachi's not going to try to use Suke, because the Mangekyo is taxing on him, very much so. He's not going to go for Tsukuyomi immediately. And he's going to try to put him under a different genjutsu first. And if he does that, Gin's going to know, don't look him in the eye. And yes, he can still put him under genjutsu, but he can't get him in Tsukuyomi if he can't look him in the eye. Itachi would realize this and just say, screw it, Tsukuyomi's not on the table. I'm going to go with Amaterasu instead. And that's one where Gin's Flame's the strongest Ryujin Jaka. And he has to get them off him, his whole sleeves burn. Maybe even takes his arm off. It's like, you lost your eyes. Unnecessary loss indeed. But you're not the only one. The only one with the tricks up their sleeve. Bankai. Kamashini no Yari. And at that point, even though Itachi can see it coming, he's like, oh, I can't react to that in time. But Susanoo can, because it reacted to Kirin, which is moving at the literal speed of lightning. So, Itachi, I've stopped. And he sees Susanoo there. And it's like, interesting. But how long can you I don't think you can maintain that for very long. Itachi comes in, and maybe he tries throwing the bead. Again, I can't remember the name of the beads. Throws him out, but Gin can just disappear, block him, all that. Now again, I say that the fight should be able to. I always say that they should be able to see each other in a fight. I think that's the evenest way to. That's the way to even the playing field. But remember that these swords still do attack on the spiritual level. So theoretically, the chakra would be the actual only thing stopping the blade from really hurting him. And even then, with the amount of force, I think he could pierce the Susanoo. And because it's not a real elemental attack at all, I mean, technically speaking, the Adamir can just repel attacks. But because of how fast it's moving, I think he'd be able to tag Itachi before Itachi was able to block it and pierce Itachi and then retract it. And he pulls out the Tosuke blade. Oh my, you really are frightening, aren't you? Unfortunately, he just appears and just, hovering it over where he stabbed him in the Susanoo. It's like, unfortunately, you're already dead. And he explains it. See, my Bankai's ability isn't its speed or its length. It's the poison hidden within its blade. And now you can die with a hole in your heart. And kill Kamishina no Yari, and that would be the end of Itachi. Ultimately, in terms of intelligence, these guys are actually very intelligent, comparable to each other. Strategy-wise, they're also very skilled. Ichimaru has the advantage also of being a Shinigami, which means he's far older than Itachi and had far more battle experience. He's far faster because with Shimpo, he can just move at light speeds. He is just a more skilled swordsman. Now, Itachi has variety over him, and he does have ways to put Gin down. Like, if Gin got hit by Tsukuyomi, that would be it for Gin, like 100%. Gin does not have a way out of that. Now, great, let me rephrase that. Gin would have to be strong enough to survive it, which he might be able to, but he would still have to be able to survive. He has no way to get out of it until Itachi releases it. He has no personal way of dispelling illusions. But the problem simply would be that Itachi's not someone who would go straight for the kill like that. He wants to conserve his energy as best he can. And so he tried to put him under a different Genjutsu first, maybe even with his Sharingan. Gin, I think, can get out of a regular illusion, though. Even if it's strong, he should be able to either flex the Ryatsu, break it, or just use his sense for his opponent's spiritual energy, or just use common sense, whatever, to kind of get out of it, or break out of it, or just fight through it. And after that, he's not gonna stare him in the eye. He's never gonna stare him in the eye, and he probably can fight without his eyes too. Like, he's skilled enough to probably do that. And so that means Tsukuyomi, which would be probably the one almost certain guarantee win method for Itachi, is kind of now made pointless. Now, what this does do, though, is give Itachi more chakra to use in the fight. But an Amaterasu is another technique that would be dangerous, but it's one that's a lot more avoidable for Gin than the Tsukuyomi. He doesn't have to stress about not staring him in the eyes. So it really would come down to the Susanoo, and I think Kamishina no Yari would hit with enough force and power and being a spiritual weapon to bypass the Susanoo, even though it is chakra and it has some spiritual energy in it. And the minute it pierces him, it's over. It's over. Now, the Adamir could give him some defense, and the Tosuke blade would be another win con if he would be able to actually hit Gin, but Gin's skilled and fast enough to be able to avoid it, I imagine. Or block it, or just, counter it however he needs to. So I would go Gin. I don't think it's a complete stomp in Gin's favor, though. I think Itachi definitely had some win cons, and there are definitely some scenarios where that win con would come into play. But I think the likely majority goes to Gin Ichimaru. But this is just my opinion. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.